3 student filmmakers walked into the woods to document a local legend, and they were never seen again. No bodies, no answers, just abandoned footage found deep in the forest. And somehow, decades later, some people aren't convinced that this was fake. Tonight, we are talking about one of the most disturbing yet famous urban legends of all time, the Blair Witch. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're sporting the Monsters t-shirt because we're starting a new series. In each episode, we're going to talk about an urban legend, whether that be a popular one, an unpopular one. We're just going to try to cover them all. But the Blair Witch is one of those legends that you really never forget. Because whether you believe in ghosts or curses or witches, this story blurred the line between what's real and what's fake. People genuinely thought that these student filmmakers actually went missing, and to this day, this imaginary legend is still terrifying. So grab a blanket, grab a coffee. It doesn't look stormy outside, but it is pretty gloomy, so get cozy, get a warm drink, and let's get started. So this story takes place in a small town called Burkittsville, Maryland. Before the town was called Burkittsville, the area had a very dark history connected to a woman accused of witchcraft. Her name was Ellie Kedward, and supposedly, back in the 1700s, several children accused her of taking blood from them in the winter. The townspeople believed she was practicing dark rituals. So instead of giving her a fair trial, they dragged her to the woods during a brutal winter and left her there to die, which is kind of sad when you think about it, but I mean there was accusations that she was literally taking blood from children, so according to the legend, after her death, strange things began to happen. Children began disappearing. People claim that they'd hear sounds in those woods at night, and some say they saw a woman standing in between the trees. Many people believe that the entire forest itself became cursed. Things get even darker in the 1940s. A man named Rustin Parr supposedly abducted several children from the town, and when he was finally found, he calmly admitted to killing them. He claimed that an old woman's voice in the woods was telling him to do it, and during the investigation, they discovered something terrifying. He would make one child stand facing the corner while he killed the other one standing behind them. Which, if you've seen the ending of the Blair Witch movie, you already know what I'm talking about. That tiny detail alone became one of the most iconic horror images ever. In 1994, 3 student filmmakers supposedly went into the Blair Witch forest to try to document the Blair Witch. Their names were Heather, Mike, and Josh. Their plan was simple: interview locals, explore the woods, document the truth behind the legend. They interviewed the townspeople and shared scary stories about this witch. Some people laughed it off, others didn't want to talk about it. The deeper they go into the forest, the more wrong things start to feel. At night, they begin to hear noises outside their tent. Twigs snapping, laughing noises, and every morning, they'd find strange symbols made of sticks hanging from the trees surrounding their tent. Now this is when the movie became genuinely disturbing to people, because it didn't rely on corny jump scares, it just relied on the atmosphere and something as simple as symbolic twig figures hanging from trees, mixed with the fear of being lost, the fear of isolation, and the fear of realizing that something is outside of your tent. As the days continue, the group starts breaking down mentally. Their maps disappear. They cannot find their way out. They keep going in circles. No matter what direction they walk, they end up coming right back to the same place. Josh eventually disappears one night, and after that, things just become completely chaotic. Heather and Mike hear Josh screaming in the woods, but they can't find him. And if you know, you know, one of the most disturbing scenes of that entire movie is when Heather finds a bundle outside of her tent containing pieces of Josh's clothing and what looks like teeth, or I thought it was his tongue when I first watched the movie, but I believe it's human teeth, his teeth. The movie never really shows you the thing, it just kind of makes you use your imagination, which is even worse. While Heather and Mike are running into the woods because they're hearing the noises, they come across an abandoned house. The camera is shaking, they're screaming, everything is just chaotic and real and suspenseful. They run upstairs, down hallways, into the basement, and then Heather sees Mike standing perfectly still, facing the corner, not moving, exactly like the children in the Rustin Parr murders. Seconds later, Heather screams. The camera crashes to the ground and the footage ends. No explanation, no monster reveal, no final answer, just silence. And this is when things get really interesting. When The Blair Witch came out in 1999, the internet was still pretty new, and the marketing for the movie was absolutely genius. The actors were all listed as missing, fake police reports were created, and people genuinely believed that this was real. And people genuinely believed that these students had disappeared. Because back then, found footage didn't really exist. People had never seen anything like that before. And even now, there's still people who love to discuss their theories on the Blair Witch. Some think that the witch was real. Others think Mike and Josh planned everything against Heather. Some people think that the forest itself was supernatural. And there's even a theory that there was never a witch. And the true horror was what isolation can do to your brain. So, I can't decide which one's scarier, but I always thought that this was based on a true story growing up. Even when I was growing up, this was like one of the first horror movies I watched with my dad. And he even thought that this was based on a true story because he saw it right when it came out in the early 2000s. And I had to debunk that for him and tell him that no, I don't think this was actually based on a true story. Because if it was, I think we'd be taking this more seriously. We'll never get a clean answer on the Blair Witch. It really is just something that we can use our imagination. You just know that there's something deeply wrong in those woods. I would one day like to go visit Maryland and actually go to the forest, though, that this is based off of. Because when you live in a small town and you have a legend like this, that's so famous, I could imagine that'd be pretty cool to go to. So let me know in the comments. Do you think the Blair Witch was real? Or do you think that the group just completely lost their minds? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.